I work hard to earn my pay, and I saved real big today at All-American Ford.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, October 22nd. I am recording this a little bit earlier than I usually do because we have a lot going on today, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But this is episode number 8 of the All-American Auto Mall and Old Bridge Updates podcast. I'm Jason Savino, the marketing director for the All-American Auto Group. And this episode, I'm going to discuss and recap our fantastic event we had on Monday here for Jar of Hope, our main charity partner, which was the DC to Old Bridge Walk for Their Lives journey. It was a record-breaking 260-mile walk from Washington, D.C. to Old Bridge, New Jersey. And it was done in just under 8 days by Jim Raffone, the CEO and founder of Jar of Hope, and a team that he likes to refer to them as Team Jamesy 24/7. So the whole event was really to raise awareness and funds for Jar of Hope. It is a nonprofit foundation that is focused on finding a cure for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which Jim Raffone's son has, and his name is Jamesy. So really, it was this fantastic event that Jim had decided to do a couple months ago. He came to us at All-American Auto Mall in Old Bridge here, wanted us to be one of the main sponsors and be heavily involved, which we, of course, said yes to. We love helping him out. And just the background of it, the story of it was fantastic. I actually had Jim Raffone as a guest on episode 3 of my podcast, where, you know, he discussed how this year with COVID and a lot of the closures and event cancellations that he had planned, he needed something big to raise money and to raise awareness, really, to keep some of his studies and trials going to find a cure that has yet to be found yet for these children that are affected by this terminal disease. So it was kind of this big thing from the beginning, and couldn't be more happy with how it turned out on Monday. So I'll start by saying thank you to a few people. So obviously my entire marketing team, Mike, Kate, and Nate did a fantastic job helping set up. Our whole staff here really got behind it. So we donated and purchased a bunch of Jar of Hope's race shirts, or campaign shirts or event shirts, whatever you want to call them, for that day. And the whole staff was wearing them that whole day. And, you know, we set up a nice little setup right outside our dealership with balloons and tables. We had hand sanitizer out. We were selling the T-shirts for donations. We were selling bracelets for donations. We were giving out Jar of Hope masks. And that was along with some Jar of Hope volunteers who came as well to help the setup. So we acted as kind of the last sponsored checkpoint for this 260-mile journey. And just a great response from the community. We had Panera Bread from Manalapan that donated some water bottles, some bananas and cookies for the walkers, because there was a huge crowd also that, you know, followed Jim and the team from Manalapan for this last leg of the race, I guess you could call it, up to Old Bridge. So, you know, thank you to Panera Bread in Manalapan. Bubba Coo's Burritos in Freehold donated some food. Elio's Pizza here in Old Bridge donated some food. We had a food truck called 12 Truck, which is a Taste of the Philippines food truck. So they were great. They kind of came out last minute, knowing that we were going to have a bigger crowd that might need some lunch that day. So big shout out to them. They did a great job promoting the event and everything on social media. So I was really proud that they came out and helped out the way they did. And again, like I said, the volunteers just did an amazing job. Jar of Hope and Jim, you know, they're just so they're so engaging and so inspiring that when they get volunteers, you know, it's volunteers that really care and they're there for a reason and they want to help, and they just the whole day went incredibly smooth because of them. Something cool too we had that morning that we surprised Jim Raffone with was it almost happened by chance too. We actually had one of the 2021 Bronco Sports here on our premises for a Ford training exercise. So a Ford representative brings it out here from Michigan. You know, they do it at all the dealerships, and it gives our staff a first look at it, and then they do training on it. So we had put it outside so that anybody who came with Jim and Jar of Hope for this event, got a little something extra and got to see it for the first time. It was probably the first time they had laid their eyes on it. So that was a big draw. That was really exciting. It wasn't really something we could advertise beforehand. It was kind of just a special treat that, and a special surprise that we had for anybody who attended the event. So they got to see the Bronco sport for the first time. And I thought it was cool too. Maybe it's a little cheesy or cliche to some, but the Bronco tagline from Ford is "Built Wild." And I told Jim when he arrived here, when I was telling him about the Bronco being here and he walked around and took a look at it, I said, I mean, "Built Wild" could really be his tagline or Jar of Hope's tagline. I mean, they are just, and Jim specifically is just an absolute crazy person for what he puts his body through. Obviously, though, for the ultimate cause of trying to save his son. But some of these events and races and journeys he's gone on, I mean, walking 260 miles over an 8-day period, not getting to sleep in a bed, not getting to, take a shower for those 8 days, not being able to really get off your feet besides when you're taking a short break, sitting on a curb somewhere, or at night when you're camping out, on the side of a gas station. So I can't imagine what he went through in those 8 days, but when I tell you that he got here on that last day, on Monday, with all the energy in the world still, and still able to, talk to the crowd and pump everybody up. And we did his push-up challenge under our awning right in front of our dealership with, a lot of our staff, a lot of our managers. So that was pretty cool. And just the hype and the pump up that he carries, the energy level, it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. I definitely want to give a shout out to some of our community first responders. They came up big during this whole thing. Old Bridge Police Department, Old Bridge Fire Department, and then even the Manalapan first responders. They gave an escort from Manalapan to Old Bridge for Jim and Jar of Hope. And then what we did was we walked from our dealership to Lombardi Field in Old Bridge. It's about 2 miles. And they gave us the escort the whole way. So it was pretty cool. We crossed over Spring Valley Road, which is right on the side of our dealership. So we crossed over Route 9, which, I've never seen around here before. So it was pretty cool. The police had to obviously block both lanes and they had a fire truck there. So we walked across Route 9 with all this backed up traffic, but the response was great. People, were waving out the window. They were curious as to what it was. So it definitely raised a lot of awareness. And then we walked down Route 9 north towards Lombardi Field and Old Bridge in the right lane. And again, we had the police escort and the fire truck behind us kind of blocking that right lane and the bus lane for us to safely walk in. And again, the response from the community was just fantastic. As these trucks were driving by, everybody was honking and waving, kind of celebrating. It was really, really cool to see. I was lucky enough to walk with them as well. I was walking with my 2 sister-in-laws. My brothers came, their wives came. A lot of our managers came, which was great. A good amount of our staff was able to join us. And then everybody from Jar of Hope, Jim Raffone, his whole family, all of the people who participated in the walk itself, their families. It was just a really nice crowd, very cool to see. So there's a lot of pictures on Facebook, on our company pages about it. And we got a lot of coverage from it as well, from news outlets, media outlets around here. Just a lot of fun, very cool scene to see on Route 9 like that. I want to give another shout out to Tommy G. So Tommy Gordon, he does the Tommy G radio show. It's on 1450 AM and just a great guy. We met him a while ago. One of his co-hosts did a lot of business with us in terms of buying cars and servicing them here. So we kind of connected with him. I used to do a monthly segment on his radio show. Now I try and do a weekly segment on his radio show every Friday. And it's actually a big reason why I wanted to start the podcast was just that experience that I was getting from being on his radio show. And he runs this Manalapan Facebook group that has, thousands of followers and provides Manalapan news and updates and weather updates and stuff. Very engaging group, very, very friendly group. Everybody's trying to help each other. Nobody says anything bad about each other. I really commend him for being able to do that in this day and age, because I'm part of a couple social media groups, parents groups and stuff like that in this area. And it's very hard to keep it civil, which is really sad to say, but it's kind of true, but Tommy G is just able to do it somehow. He commands a lot of respect in the community. He used to be on some major stations like Z100, Hot 97, I believe. Just a fantastic radio host and just a big supporter of the community and local businesses and stuff. So we connected with him a couple of years back now. And whenever we have one of these events or these charity things, he comes out, he helps us out. He was here that day on Monday and he was Facebook Living it. Got like hundreds of views. I think it was up to 900 views last time I saw it, just for that Manalapan group page, which, it's very concentrated, very nice, engaging local group. So, I was texting Tommy all week, really thanking him, anything to increase awareness and exposure for this event. So I, again, just wanted to say thank you to him over the air here. That was much appreciated and a really nice thing for him to do. It was funny. We were walking on Route 9 and all of a sudden I see him up across Route 9, kind of up on a pavilion by Friendly's Ice Cream, if you're familiar with the area by our dealership. And he was just filming, just getting a different angle. He thought of it. It was just funny that, we kind of saw him up there and he was going to kind of great lengths to get like good shots for us. So again, I really appreciate it. Very nice guy. Very nice thing to do for us, the community, and for Jar of Hope. So we did a check presentation here through our dealership, through our family, the Savino family, and then our business partners, the Selman family, who owns All American Auto Group with us. We had raised about $88,000. So we presented that check. And again, Jim kind of knew it was coming. His wife, Karen, didn't really know the amount. So she was kind of floored by it. It's just always a great moment to give back like that and present the check. Jim is such a good speaker, gave a great little chat to the audience there about it. So that was a lot of fun. And then right after we had that little pit stop here, with the check presentation, the food truck, stuff like that, we then, started to walk over to Lombardi Field. And when we got to Lombardi Field, the crowd there was great. They kind of set us up in the bleachers. Jim Raffone and the team walked around the track once, and they got to the official finish line, kind of ending it, breaking the record of 260 miles walked in under 8 days. I believe the previous record was 10 days for something like that from Washington, D.C. to New Jersey. So it was a really cool event there at Lombardi Field. We had Old Bridge Mayor Owen Henry there, and then Congressman Representative Chris Smith, who he's been supporting Jar of Hope and Jim Raffone for a while now. It was very cool. Chris Smith presented Jim with a Jar of Hope flag that he had flown over the Capitol the previous week for a short time, to show support for the event. So that was pretty cool. And it was just a nice ceremony. Jim presented some of his team, his walkers and the runners, because there's a separate team doing a Ragnar, which I guess is a relay race. I've never heard of it. I don't think I'd be able to do one. Those people are crazy, and I think they're very, very into it. And I would just never be able to do it. But they were great. They ran the same 260 miles. They ran it in 3 days in this Ragnar-style relay race. So they were there. So the runners and the walkers, as we called them, were both celebrated. Jim presented them with flags. And then a really cool part of it was that Jim presented me and my two brothers with a signed T-shirt that all the walkers and runners from this event signed, one of the event shirts, and framed it. So we're going to hang it in our dealership here in Old Bridge. So that was just a really nice gesture and a cool way for us to always kind of remember that day. So we really appreciated that from Jim, obviously. So it really ended up a great community event, and I think it raised a lot of awareness. I know Jim raised a ton of money, so it really helped out in this crazy year of COVID where a lot of his events had been canceled. So that was the recap of the DC to Old Bridge Jar of Hope event. Can't wait to see what Jim Raffone comes up with next. I know his gala is usually towards the end of the year or the beginning of next year, but with COVID, who knows? I know he wanted to do another Texas Hold'em poker event like we did in January here at our dealership, but again, with COVID, who knows? So keep following us. Look out for more information about Jar of Hope events. We're going to keep supporting him like crazy and keep helping push forward his fight against Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So now I'll just quickly end the episode with some updates on some of our other events that we have going on. And then I'll end it with, like I always do, with some of our NFL picks. So the quick update on our Pet-A-Palooza video series. Episode 3 comes out today. It's going to be a great episode. It focuses on North Star Pet Rescue, which is an amazing pet rescue partner of Sammy's Hope. That's why they wanted them featured. They're up in northern New Jersey, and they actually focus on saving at-risk dogs from overcrowded animal shelters. So just a great organization. It's all volunteer-based. It's 501c3, all animal breeds, really cool company. I got to speak with a couple of them over there, and Sammy's Hope obviously speaks very highly of them, wanting them to be highlighted in one of our episodes for this video series. And it's a special episode in the sense that today, Thursday, October 22nd, is also Subaru's second annual National Make a Dogs Day, which was a campaign they started just last year to highlight shelter dogs that are often the last to be adopted, what they call the underdogs. So it worked out this way. We didn't plan it this way. Just got lucky, and just a really cool connection there with episode 3 of our Pet-A-Palooza video series today, and this special day that Subaru wants to highlight these underdogs. And the voting for the NJ 101.5 cutest pet contest that's going on right now with us here at All American Subaru as well. That voting goes until Monday, October 26th. And then the winner is going to be announced next Thursday on October 29th during the episode 4, the last episode of our Pet-A-Palooza video series. So there's still time to vote. You can find the information on our website or on nj1015.com/pets2020. And then the big event today here at the dealership here at All American Ford in Old Bridge is our 2021 Mustang Mach-E Road Tour. So it's going to start in a couple hours from when I'm recording this. It goes from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. There's going to be 2 to 3 Mustang Mach-Es here today. Some of our Ford reps are still trying to work out getting the third one here, but there's going to be at least 2 on display. There's going to be a team of Ford Mach-E experts for personalized one-on-one walkarounds. We've had over 40 people, I believe, as of this morning, register for the event, and then just a ton more on Facebook say that they're going or interested. So it's going to be a nice little event where, you can come out and see this brand new model from Ford. It's going to be the first time probably all of these customers are seeing this Mustang Mach-E for the first time. I got to see it in person for the first time last year at an event in New York City that Ford threw exclusively for some of the dealers in the area. So very exciting. I've talked about that Mustang Mach-E, which if anybody doesn't know by name, this is the all-new, all-electric SUV from Ford, which took the Mustang nameplate, which was a little controversial within Ford, and a lot of the Mustang lovers and the old school guys that, are now raising their hands that they don't want the Mustang nameplate used for an SUV or an all-electric vehicle. I go into that a little bit in the one of the previous episodes where I talked about the Mustang Mach-E. So go back, I believe it was episode 6, if you want to have a listen at that. But it's a really exciting vehicle. I think it's going to be a game changer. I think it's going to compete with Tesla, and it's going to really move forward into the future with going a little bit more all electric, but still having all of the power and the performance. And that's why they wanted to use the Mustang nameplate. So very interesting stuff. Can't wait to see it later on today. I'll be posting about it like crazy on all of our social media pages. We'll make some videos about it. So if you can't make the event today, definitely check out our social media pages because you'll get to see a lot about it. All right, so the last part of our show, I try and have a little bit of fun with it, do my NFL picks. So last episode was definitely a rough one, probably the worst one or tied for one of the worst weeks I've had so far. I went 1-2. So I lost my Shelby F-150 confidence level pick of the week, which was the Panthers losing to the Bears. I won my Explorer, which is the middle tier confidence level pick, which I'm now 5-1 in that tier. So that seems to be my sweet spot. I won with the Titans beating the Texans in overtime. And then my lowest confidence level tier, the Ford EcoSport tier, lost that one. So I went to 3-3 for that tier. So 1-2 last week. Overall, I'm still 11-7 against the spread. So still a pretty good percentage, but got to get back to my winning ways this week, which is interesting because I actually hate this week. Looked over all the spreads, almost don't even like any games this week. I feel like they've really got the spreads right, and it's a very tough week, but I'll give it a shot. So my highest level confidence pick, the Shelby F-150, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons, giving about a field goal to the Detroit Lions. My middle tier Ford Explorer pick of the week, which so far has been my sweet spot, I'm taking the Chiefs against the Broncos. And then for my EcoSport tier pick of the week, I'm going with the Washington football team, still without a name there, over the Cowboys. Obviously, I've talked about it before. I'm a big Giants fan. They're nothing to get excited about this year, obviously, but I always enjoy picking against the Cowboys or the Eagles. You'll see that happen throughout the season. So far, I've been lucky with it because nobody in the NFC East is any good. But those are my picks. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back next week, of course, and we'll see you then.
Well, everyone can afford an all-American.